Hebrews 12, 11 to 17. Are we there? Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward he giveth the peaceful fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Looking diligently lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness spring up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who from one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he will have inherited the blessings, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. There is a reason why man, why God, in his infinite wisdom, choose to deal with man on the basis of man's genuine character, which is who man is, and not based on what man is. When Samuel went to the house of Jesse to anoint the next king of Israel, his first choice was based on what man is and not on who man is. So his first choice was the eldest son, and God was quick to let him know that you have made a mistake. It is not him, because you have chosen to make a choice by what the man is and not who he is in terms of his character. He says, I know all of them, and I know the one that has a good character, the one whose character will be suitable for the purpose that I want to anoint him for, and that one happens to be David. Now, talking about who man is and what man is, there are some people that you come across with in life who are so satanically intelligent, in the sense that they are able to deduce that your choice of preference is based on who man is and not what man is, who they are and not what they have. Am I making sense to you? They know. Now, why did I say they are satanically intelligent? Because of the information they have, they are able to manipulate you and portray themselves in the way you will want to see them, and give you a wrong impression of who they are. Am I making sense to you? So, if they are ostentatious, if they are loud, if that is what they are, that's what's all about them, because they know your church is based on who they are, then they will pretend and act as who they are not. Am I making sense to you? Now, we have people in that category who have that also wrong default setting. Is that what he wants? Give him what he wants. You to pretend. The question is never to, if that is what you want, maybe you need to change. If that is what every man you are meeting wants, a person with good character, a person that can cook, a person that is honored, a person that has manners, maybe is calling for you to change. That is what you will expect from people or the right thinking person to advise any other person. But the default setting will be, at this age, somebody else, well, okay, if that's what you do, and you to pretend now. Am I making sense to you? So they pretend. So you have two groups of people. The one who is choosing based on what the person is a wrong default setting. The one who also knows that, oh, you want to choose me for who I am, then I will give you who I am and pretend to be who I'm not, rather than changing. That is also a wrong default setting. But these two are very common. Am I making sense to you? To find someone who is making a choice based on who the person is, and to be lucky to come across somebody who is actually presenting himself to you based on who he or she truly is very rare. Now, where in a society such wonderful choice is rare, how can such society move forward? Are you following me? Am I making sense to you? That means most things are done by 419, through falsehood, lies, deceit, and that will not get anybody anywhere. But one thing about God is this: not only will he make a choice based on who you are, he is also capable of knowing who you are without you telling him who you are. He can deduct who you are just by looking straight into your heart, and will tell who you are. We don't have that luxury to be able to see into someone and know if the person is lying, or to be pretending that this is who he or she is. And that's why even those who have this right to make a choice based on who you are still get it wrong sometimes, because sometimes they fall into the hands of people who will pretend to them who they are not. Am I making sense to you? So, but God is not like that. So, in other words, even if we fool anybody, we cannot fool God. Now, I've been meditating on Esau all week. Esau, the guy we read about in the Bible just now. Esau is not the kind of name you hear often in the Bible, or when people talk about in messages. Always we hear about the God of Jacob, and about how cunning Jacob was, most especially in how he allegedly stole the birthright of Esau. And we hear also more about Jacob and not about his older twin brother Esau. Now, it should have been the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of Esau. But what we hear is God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. But why? Why? Esau had a wrong default setting, like many of us. And what was the wrong default setting? Esau lost his birthright because he was hungry. While in his desperation for food, when he found himself in a desperate situation, He took a wrong decision rather than to endure. He was hungry. He came back. And his brother Jacob had a pot of porridge in front of him. Jacob, knowing how desperate his elder brother was at that time, decided to take advantage of his situation. His eyes has always been on taking the right of his elder brother. What belongs to his elder brother by birthright, his eyes has always been on it. So he saw an opportunity, so he made a deal with Jacob, with Esau. I will give you this pot of porridge if you will give me your birthright. Do you know that we make such decisions from time to time? Like Esau, who will agree, okay, take the pot of porridge, okay, give me the pot of porridge and take my birthright. One of the people that found difficult to make friends with are people who believe that certain things is a must in their life. If they don't get this thing, it's trouble. If they don't get this thing, they are not complete. Recently, I find it more difficult to create new friends or to have new friends. Because I realize that in this part of the world, everybody that is your friend is in friendship with you because of one thing or the other they presume they can get from you. Am I making sense to you? Now, if that thing they believe they want to get from you is something that they believe is a do or die they must have, if at the end of the day you are not able to give them that thing, you will become their enemy. The same people that have been speaking good of you will now begin to speak bad of you. It's like a woman who wants to be your friend because he wants you to marry her. Or a man who wants to be your friend because she wants you to marry him. But as far as we are concerned, right from the onset, it was just friendship. But they have the mind that it must lead to marriage. Now, at the end of the day, if you are not able to offer the person marriage, the same person that used to say you are a good person will now start saying you are a bad person, simply because you are not able to meet that desire which he or she has made the point that it must happen with you. Are you following me this morning? Glory be to the name of God. More and more, beloved, you find out that people are very skeptical. That's right, thinking people now are very skeptical in getting close to people because they may be asking them for something they will not be able to give in future. So say, let me just drop back because I sense this is where you are going and I may not be able to give you that thing that you want. So let me drop back, because if I don't give you now, you will not begin to speak evil of my name. So I would rather we just remain simple friends, whereby you don't speak evil of me tomorrow. I just let the memory of who I am today as just a good person, let it remain there for life. Because I know that once I get too close to you, one day that thing will change to is a bad person. Am I making sense to you? Esau was in a desperate situation. He believed it is either this food, I can't wait, I must get this food at all costs. Now, if he didn't take that food that day, will he die? I want to tell you one thing, beloved, this morning. Nothing is a do or die. Nothing in life is a do or die. other than maybe your salvation. Anything, any other thing outside of that. Sisters, be careful of desperate men who want to come into relationship with you because they want to engage you in relationship and marry you based on maybe what they think you have. Most times, it's usually based on what you have. If at the end of the day you don't marry them, they will blackmail you, they will speak evil about you, they say all manner of rubbish against you. Likewise, brothers, be careful of desperate sisters who will come to you and say you're a nice person, you're a good person. How can someone like you don't have a girlfriend? What is wrong? You are so nice, you are so good, you need somebody to look after you. They will say all manner of nice words. Probably you tell them how you've been disappointed, how you've been frustrated. I said, no, they don't believe in all that. So. And they just want to get close to you at all costs. They only have one agenda, that tomorrow you will marry them. If at the end of the day you don't marry them, the same people that are saying you are nice will not say you are an evil person. So the best thing is that once you know what the agenda is, draw back. Be careful of people who have gotten to a stage in their life that they are saying this thing is a do or die. Am I making sense to you? Shout a glorious hallelujah. Esau was in that situation because you see, when you're in that situation, you'll be exploited by anybody. They can exploit you. They can blackmail you. At the same time, you yourself can be exploited. Are you following me this morning? I would say that Jacob exploited his brother's states of weakness. He saw his brother's weakness and he took advantage of it. But at the same time, because you see, the default setting there is that this Jacob is a very bad person. He saw his brother's state and he took advantage of it. Is that not what we say? Am I right? Jacob is a very bad person. He's a very bad person. If we are to look at Jacob and Esau, who are we going to blame? We'll blame Jacob more than we'll blame Esau. Because we say Jacob took advantage of his brother. Am I making sense to you? That's what we'll do, right? And most times we may not even pay attention to Esau, other than pay attention to Jacob for the terrible thing he did to his brother. But let me tell you something, beloved. Look at it from another point of view. Esau acted stupidly. Very stupidly. Esau were the ones that made the choice. He made the choice. If anybody was to be blamed, it is Esau. But rather we blame Jacob. Let me tell you something, beloved. Anybody can offer you anything. It is up for you to say, I want or I don't want. Oh, it was that brother that came and he was the one that put you into trouble. He slept with me. Did he rape you? He offered you something and you made a choice to take it. Am I making sense to you? In this part of the world, our wrong default setting is always to focus on the one who acted stupidly, to focus on the one who manipulates, but we don't focus on the one who acted stupidly in the first place. Yes, Jacob manipulated. I wouldn't even say manipulated because it was very clear. You want this, give me this. And if somebody made a choice, okay, I want it, I'll give you this, and you can take what belongs to me. But maybe let me explain to you in a better way. Two friends were standing by their car and they were talking, gisting. And a lady drove by, parked her car, and opened her boot and brought out a jerry can of water. And the two guys looked at themselves and they said, this girl is fine, oh. This girl is beautiful, oh. The other guy said, this is the kind of woman that I like. And said, but why don't you go and chase her? That's what she's carrying. You help her to carry the water now. That will be an opportunity for you to chase her. So the guy said, that's true. So he went to the lady. A beautiful lady like you should not be carrying water. They said, thank you. He said, let me help you carry it. He said, don't worry. Carrying water is my hobby. So he carried the water. When they got to the apartment, he asked her, which floor is your own? He said, the last floor. As he was carrying the water, he was changing hands. At the point he puts on his shoulder, the point he brings his hand again. And the lady was saying, are you not? I said, no, this is not ordinary water. I can carry 4 at a time. So he carried the water to the landing on the floor of a flat. And there were 2 flats opposite each other. 2 doors of flats. He said, which one is your own? Open the door so I can help you carry it in. And the lady said, no, don't worry. You can leave it out there. My boyfriend is inside. He will help me to carry the water inside. Now, if you are to judge the case, what would you say? I can't hear you. The lady is wicked. Now, if I had not told you about the story of Esau and Jacob, many of you will have said that wicked lady, wicked woman. How can she do that? But the truth of the matter is that the lady did not tell him to carry the water. He was the one that chose to carry the water for the lady. And the lady just simply said, thank you. He had not stated his mission. He just carried water. And then when he got to the top and said, boyfriend said, boyfriend, so you have a boyfriend in fact, and you mean me to carry water, and started insulting the lady. But should the lady be insulted? No. So he now took the water from top back. When he got to the point where he took the water from, his friend said to him, what happened? Why did you bring water back? He now told the friend, he said, wicked girl. Is the lady wicked? No. He is the one that is stupid. He is the one that is foolish. The friend said, no, you can't even drop the water here. Why can't you drop it here? Let us carry it further. So he took the water another 1 mile. Now go and call your boyfriend to come and carry it. Now, when you look at it, the common thing that anyone would say is that that's what is good for her. But is it really right? It wasn't her fault. Shout hallelujah. I will say, beloved, that boy is just like Esau, who made the choice to sell his birthright. It was his choice. He acted out of stupidity. Am I making sense to you? He acted out of stupidity. For many people, that is their default setting. Always acting out of stupidity and blaming it on somebody else. We are very good at doing that in this country. We act out of stupidity, and we now say it is this person. Are you following me this morning? They both had choices to make. The guy did not approach them. Esau and the boy were the ones that went to make deal with the devil. They are the ones that went to make deal. Esau went to make deal with Jacob, and the boy went to make deal with the woman. Let me help you to carry your water. There was not even any negotiation as to what will happen after I carry water. He just carried water, assuming in his mind that this will be the end of the story. And so when he didn't turn out the way she expected, or he expected, he started abusing the lady. This morning, beloved, I'm sorry that I need to take you back a bit to what we have discussed before. And I'm doing this because of the way things have been trending on social media. Largely because of the fact that all has to do with wrong default settings Nigerians are operating on. And to imagine as Christians we are guilty of this same thing is a terrible thing. The first one I want to take us back on is the university story, the story of the university girl who said a professor was trying to take advantage of her, and at the end of the day, the professor had been sacked or suspended from work today. She claims she exposed a lecturer for demanding sex from her in return for extra marks in the course she failed. And everybody applauded her. In fact, nobody saw any wrong in that girl other than to say, hey, God don't cut that lecturer. Are you following me? But the lecturer was just like Jacob, who sat on his own, and a desperate Esau went to him and said, give me something, and the lecturer said, if you give me this, I will take something back in return. The girl went to the lecturer. What can we do to pass this exam? I failed. The lecturer said, no problem. Are you ready to offer yourself to me? And in return, I will pass you. Are you following me? But we fail to look at it from the point that the girl was one that went to be the lecturer. Are you following me? What we pay attention is the fact that what the lecturer offered the girl in return, and we say the lecturer is bad. If Esau had not gone to Jacob for food, and Jacob said, this is what I will get in return, and Esau had not agreed to it, Esau would not be in the position he was. Am I making sense to you? But he made a deal with Jacob, and that was why he found himself in the position he was. For ladies that have been victim of this sexual harassment, or they call it sexual harassment in the university, who went on looking for marks when they failed, it is difficult to actually put the total blame on the man who took advantage of them, because that man is just like Jacob. Are you following me this morning? Am I making sense to you? Now, if I were the parent of that girl who have raised my daughter with good morals and values, the first question will be, How did you find yourself in a situation whereby you failed your exam in the first place? What were you doing when you are supposed to be reading? While your mates were reading their books, what were you doing? First, I'll be disappointed that she failed. Am I making sense to you? Then I will also be disappointed in the way my daughter that I've raised up properly speaks boldly about sex. With someone old enough to be a father. When did you become this bad? How did you get to this level? Now, it is not just me as a parent, but every parent ought to feel that way. How come? Am I making sense to you? Every parent ought to think in that like manner. Because you have to look at how did this guy get to his state? Imagine my daughter talking this way. But Nigerians don't look at it from that point. Parents don't look at it from that point. All they say was that God don't cut the lecturer. What about the girl? It's a wrong default setting. Totally wrong. A girl that is well trained with good morals, in the first place, will not find herself in a situation negotiating with a lecturer. We all know, we hear of what students do today. You send them to university, they go on runs. Because they believe at the end of the day, they will sort out themselves, either with money or with their body. We hear these stories. The first question may be, how did you fail your exam? Why did you even fail in the first? What were you doing with your time? If she had passed her exam, she would not have been in that situation. Am I making sense to you? You see, a girl that focuses on her study, what she'll be talking about is that they gave me second class lower or second class upper when I should be giving first class. I want them to remark my paper. Not that I fail. Come and give me a pass mark. Am I making sense to you? That is what a girl who has read her books will be talking about. And it will not be based on what can I offer you. It will be based on remark my paper. I'm sure I passed this exam. That's for a girl who went to school to study. Her point of negotiation will be based on her academic excellence, on the fact that she's sure of herself. Am I making sense to you? But Nigerians, we don't look at it from that point. I'm amazed that parents, mothers, fathers, who should look at it from a totally different angle, that if this girl were to be my daughter, is this what I'll be saying? They're busy saying, God, don't cut lecturer. Nobody is focusing attention on the girl. Just like nobody focused attention on Esau. All they are saying that Jacob took advantage of him. Am I making sense to you? I'm not saying that what Jacob did is right. Not am I saying that what the lecturer did is right. But I want to tell you one thing. There will always be evil in this world. There will always be bad people in this world. Am I making sense to you? Now, it is your choice to either deal with them or run away from them. In the Garden of Eden, the garden that God created, there was a garden of good and evil. There was a tree of good and evil. There are plenty of trees of good and only one of evil. And yet the man chose to go to the one that is evil. The tree stood on his own jeje. Eve went to meet the tree, saw the fruit, and said, I want this fruit. When God was going to judge the case, what did God say? Did I not tell you not to go there? No, please, let us go back. Let us go back to memory lane. When we were young, And your parents will say to you, sit down there, I'm going out. Don't leave this compound. Play there. I don't want you to leave. I'll make sure you finish your homework. And then your parents go out. And then they come back. They see wound on your head. How did you get this wound? It was when I went to the next house. They now throw, brother so now beat me because I so. What would your parents do to you? Eh? Why? Because you left where they asked you to stay. Where did you send your daughter? Did you send your daughter to be going to parties, doing errands, doing runs, to the point that she's not able to read her book? She should have been the first person to be caned. But the wrong default setting today, things have really changed now. We just support things without thinking, without planning, without meditating on it. Bad people will always be around. It is you that would know how to deal with them. Am I making sense to you? Glory be to the name of God. Fela sang a song, when trouble sleep, waiting they find. The children, the university students, they will tell you that they know what their lecturers are capable of. And they know that what they can do to them if they go to them. They also know what they can do to avoid not going to them. Why they not do what they can do to avoid not going? But you know the reason why the parents, why many parents fail to see the wrong in that girl? You know why? The reason is because many of them have failed. They have failed. If you have trained your child well, your first concern in that matter will be what, how, you. When they were even talking about one girl, I can never imagine it to be my own child. Am I making sense to you? But they have to push their failure on somebody else's head and blame it on the man, and refuse to see where they have failed. As a parent, if you have trained your child well, what would your child be doing at the corridor of the lecturer's office looking for extra mark? Am I making sense to you, beloved? Shout a glorious hallelujah. When we were young, our parents would discipline us, and it does not matter. After the discipline, you will say thank you. You cannot sulk. You cannot say, I won't talk to mommy again. You cannot say, I'm going to be by myself. You are asking for more cane. It's not even done. Today, you will scold the child. And the child, from that moment, will develop attitude towards you and threaten you with their relationship. And because of that, next time, you will not want to chastise the child because you want that relationship. Am I making sense to you? Now that child that you have failed to chastise and put right in the house, how would that child not misbehave outside? Proverbs 18:1-2 says, whosoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. When you correct a child and he decides to isolate himself from you and say, I don't want to talk to you again, that means that child is seeking his or her own desire. He says he breaks out against all sound judgment. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his own opinion. Only is expressing his own opinion. He doesn't want to hear what another person is saying, only his own. You know, sometimes we act like fools because only what makes sense to us. We don't try to reason it out the other way. Am I making sense to you? Good parents that raise their daughter well will be troubled about how their daughter got to the level of failing exams and then freely approaching a lecturer to discuss sleeping with him as a way out. I told you about my daughter. She didn't understand certain things in her course of study, and her mother, who schooled abroad in America, said to her, thinking that's what they do abroad, go and meet your lecturer, tell him that you don't understand what, so that he can explain to you. She said, thank you, mommy, I will go and ask my friends, and if I don't get it, well, but I'm not going to any lecturer, because she knows what can happen. Am I making sense to you? We are in a system that is filled with corruption. It cannot be resolved in one day. While we are working to resolve it, we should bind ourselves, guide ourselves in such a way that we don't become victim of that corruption. Am I making sense to you? Are you following me this morning? Because you can say, but is that the real case? Shouldn't that, until they address it, must you expose yourself to it? You found yourself there, you found yourself already. Even in the Garden of Eden, God did not remove the tree that is bad there. He left it there, but he told them, don't move near it. In every walks of life, you will see bad people. In every society, you will see bad people. In banks, there are bad people. In all companies, there are bad people. Everywhere you see people that try to exploit everyone at one point, you are the one that will put on your thinking cap and avoid them. Shout a glorious hallelujah. So instead of questioning the kind of parenting this girl, who had the encounter with the lecturer had, many who are also parents choose to see her as a victim, forgetting the fact that many female undergraduates who do not sit down in school to study but instead choose to attend parties actually run to those lecturers and offer them their bodies for the marks they need to pass. In their set minds, many parents will not accept failure in parenting, but would rather blame society. They will blame individuals. They will blame even the laws of the country for the bad character and lack of morals in their children. Am I making sense to you? Now let me bring it home. In this ministry, recently we made a pronouncement that only virgins that will be cleaning our altar now from now on. One of my daughters in her 30s will soon be 40, in fact I think 40 in the next 3 months, was obviously confused at the reaction of some parents and their children. Was confused at the reaction of some parents. Now, let me quickly say something about that girl, the university girl. Any girl that is willing to offer her body for sex to pass her exam will also be willing to offer her body for sex for promotion in the office. Am I right? Now, going back to the issue of the virgins. So this, one of my daughters said, obviously confused about the reactions of some parents and some adults in this ministry, singles, who are no longer virgin. She asked to ask the question, why are some parents angry and their children also angry at the instruction given by God that only Kingdom Addicts girls who are virgins can mount the altar in the service of God? She was confused. Why should they be angry? what is the reason? Why are they angry at this instruction? Why do they feel offended? And she made a statement. She stated that even she herself is not a virgin, but she believed that such instructions should wake parents up to be more alive to their responsibilities in making sure that their children keep themselves till they get married. Am I making sense to you? That is what you will expect to do for any parent, and also to make them say, thank God, maybe this will even help the children to keep themselves, which is the proper thing to do. So she couldn't understand why the instruction should make them angry. Why? But do you know why they made them angry? Because it exposes their failure to train their children in the proper way to keep themselves until the day of marriage. So now that when the ones that are virgins will man the altar and their own daughter is not mounting the altar, everybody will know that their daughter is not a virgin. But rather than to accept their failure, that yes, I've messed up here, and make a correction and think of what to do, and then whatever, they got angry at the instruction of the Almighty. And the ones also who are also lost their virginity, who are also angry because it will not be obvious that they are no longer virgins, they too are also angry at that fact, rather than taking the responsibility for the fact that yes, they messed up. Am I making sense to you? This problem is not God's problem. It's not the servants of God's problem. There is no other person to blame but yourself. One of the wrong default settings we have in this world, in this country, is that we don't accept our responsibility. We don't accept our failure. When we are wrong, we don't accept it. We try to push it on somebody else and say they're the one responsible. Am I making sense to you this morning? Now, God has a very big problem with that. In 1 Samuel 15, 13 to 23, Saul had just come back from battle. Are you following me? Saul had just come back from battle, and he went to meet Samuel. How was battle? Not knowing, Samuel not knowing that, Saul not knowing that God had spoken to Samuel before he came about how Saul had disobeyed him. Saul said to Samuel, oh yes, we did very well, we did everything we did as God instructed. He said, did you actually do as God instructed? What about the bleating of sheep? What about the noise I'm hearing? That one is nothing now. It's not the sheep, the goats and some things that we brought for God to the soldiers to enjoy, and then some to sacrifice to the Lord your God. He gave excuse for his disobedience. He did not accept his fault. He gave excuse. And Samuel had to remind him where he was coming from. And that was why Samuel said to him, today, this throne has been taken away from you. You see, God, apart from the fact that he cannot stand our sin, one thing that frustrates God most is when we try to justify our sin. Am I making sense to you? When we try to justify our sin, when we have done wrong, let us take responsibility. You've messed up. Take responsibility and don't get angry. That was the reason why God refused to pay attention. He said, this guy is, in fact, just forget him and taking the throne away from him. Because rather than accepting that he had messed up, he was blaming it on something else. The wrong default setting we have in this part of the world is never to accept our wrong, but to blame it on somebody or society. Right from creation, like I told you, in that garden, is the garden of good trees. We have the ones that are good, and we have the only one that is bad, fruit of which they should not move near, but they choose to move near it. And when they ask, why did you go there? He said it was Satan. They said they will always blame it on somebody. But did God accept that excuse? No. Did God accept the excuse? No. In the first place, why did you go there? Oh, the lecturer slept with me. Why did you go to the lecturer? Why did you go and ask for extra mark? His punishment will be there, but you too will chop cake well. But in this case, we leave the one who went to do the soliciting, who went to ask. Those ones, they are okay. It is the other one that is wrong. Am I making sense to you? Of course, God punished them well, because he told them not to go there in the first place. There are things that is a no-go area for any child of God. There are things that as a Christian, as a believer, you should not even move near. There is no reason why a child of God, a born-again child of God, should lose her virginity before marriage. There is no reason whatsoever. Am I making sense to you? Aside of the fact that, God forbid, you are raped. And if you find yourself having messed up yourself, then the thing is not to get angry when there are instructions concerning those who have not, but rather that's the time you should come for repentance. God, I'm so sorry. There's a girl in the ministry, one of my daughters, who when she heard about that instruction, she was just crying every day. She came to me and said, sir, I know I'm guilty, I know I'm messed up, but please, sir, can God just give me a chance? I won't do it again, and qualify me to do it. She was crying. She did not get angry at those who had the opportunity to do so, but rather acknowledged her wrong and cried for her sin. But not that's not what you hear. See, then what are they? What is the big deal about doing the bad thing? Do you know how it sounds in the ear of God? You are saying, what is the big deal about sin? That is your reaction to something that is very serious in the mind of God. You are laughing at it, and you want God to take you serious. And then the next time you go before him and pray, we have this wrong mindset. I don't even know whether we know what we are doing at all. We need to change this default setting in the way we view sin, in the way we refuse to acknowledge our wrong and blame it on something else. Failing to take responsibility, trivializing our sins as if it's nothing, and making excuses for our sins. All these are wrong default settings. Are you following me this morning? But you know what? It is common. That's what we do. We tribalize our sin. We fail to take responsibility for what we have done, and we make excuse that this is the reason why I did it. Am I right? But this is a wrong default setting. We need to change. We need to start looking at sin as something that is a very big, it's a big thing in the eyes of God. It's the reason for failure, it's the reason for infirmity, it's the reason for disease, it's the reason for many bad things that is happening in our society. Sin. We need to start looking at sin as if it's just nothing. Sin is the reason why Jesus died. How can somebody come and die because of sin, and you say sin is nothing? How can somebody die because of fornication, and you say fornication is nothing? How can somebody die because you lie, and you say lying is nothing? How can you laugh at your sin? How can you mock others? How can you mock the church, mock the sounds of God when they're talking about sin and say, what is the big deal self? How dare you trivialize your sin? And then of course we fail to take responsibility. We're always putting the blame on somebody else. Is it not this? Is it not this? Why can't we learn from the story of Eve, who tried to put the blame on serpent? Or learn from the story of Adam, who tried to put the blame on Eve? No matter who we try to put the blame on, it will never remove the fact that we have done evil. Are you following me this morning? It's a wrong default setting. Tell your neighbor it's a wrong default setting. Let us stop making our excuses for our sin. It's because I was hungry. It's because I had no choice. You always have a choice. You always have what? Like I said, the reason why parents could have gotten angry is because it will make it obvious that their children or their girl is no longer a virgin. And to them, it's a thing of disgrace. But they would rather, so the rather is not mentioned at all, so that nobody knows. Now that somebody has known about it, they are angry at it, rather than to see themselves, I messed up. In fact, if you have never seen yourself as a failure as a parent, over the child that your child loses his or her virginity, by that statement, it should come to, yes, I failed. And what should you do? Be asking God for mercy, not getting angry. Am I making sense to you? Shout hallelujah, somebody. Before that instruction was given, nobody knows who is a virgin or not. But now, we will know. And of course, those who is affected is angry. But the solution is not to get angry. The solution is actually to repent. Acknowledge that I've done wrong and repent. Maybe even by this instruction, it is what will save you from going to hell. Because if this instruction had not come, you may not even have found any reason for you to repent. You may just go on like that as if it's nothing. And that would have landed you here. But now, it's an opportunity for you to examine yourself. God, I really messed up. Look at what I've missed. There is so much blessing attached to cleaning the altar of the Almighty. To cleaning the place where the Almighty, where the Holy Spirit dwells, is a wonderful blessing. And to imagine you miss out of it is something that should be of concern for you, not something that you should laugh and tribalize and say, what is big deal self? Wait until you start seeing the blessings that come over the lives of those people. Then you know that it's a big deal. But then, maybe God will have had mercy on you and also bless you in equally, like those ones who are doing it. If you had said, God, I feel bad, I'm sorry. But rather than for you to feel bad, you just say, what is it? It's like the story of Saul and David. They both did something bad, but Saul trivialized what he has done. David said, I'm in trouble. He started crying. God had mercy on David. He left him on the throne, even handed it over to his children. But to Saul, he said, forget it. No. Because one took responsibility, did not trivialize his sin, and did not try to put the blame on somebody else. He did not make excuse for his sin. But the other one made the excuse for his sin, trivialized his sin, and tried to put the blame on somebody else. We saw the difference. In this part of the, like I said, the wrong default setting is to say, what is the big deal self? What is part of talking about self? In this world of today, the Bible has not changed. Everything can change. The Bible says God has not changed and God will never change. His standard remains the same. His expectation from his children remain the same. Let somebody shout hallelujah. My daughter, her friend did not do jam. And her father got somebody to do jam for her. And she's in university today. Because you want your daughter to be your friend. You give her whatever she likes. That girl that did not do jam, and she's in university because her father paid somebody to do jam for her. If tomorrow that girl go and sleep with the lecturer, what do you expect? To pass. She had already been introduced into a false way of getting her desires. Bad parenting. But the same parent tomorrow will now blame the lecturer, not knowing that he or she is the one that started the process. Am I making sense to you? When your child was coming home with different kind of clothing, different kind of shoes, different kind of bags, did you ask her where she got it from? Did you ask her where she got the money from? Am I making sense to you? You were laughing, you were playing. My sister, my girl has become a big girl. Glory be to the name of God. We cannot put blame of our wrong on somebody else. We can't put it on our parents. Neither can we put it on the lecturer. We can't put it on the society. From the moment we know what is good from what is bad, we cannot put blame on anybody anymore. At that point in time, it is our choice that determines what we get, because we already know. I told you last year about the story of two twins. They were both trained by a drunkard father, and one became a drunkard like his father, and the other one refused to drink. And when they asked him, "Why are you drinking?" he said, "Because I was trained by a drunken father." "Why don't you drink?" "Because I was trained by a drunken father." Because you know what? One chooses to learn from the mistakes of the father. The other one choose to emulate the ways of the father. It was still both a choice. Am I making sense to you? Are you following me? So while you are trying to put blame on somebody, God will give you an example of somebody who is in the same position but did otherwise, and let you know that it was a choice you made. Behold, I've said before you life and death, blessing and curses. Choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. It's a choice. So let's stop putting blame on people. Let's start at taking our responsibility. It's a wrong default setting to continue to put blame on people or society for the wrong that you have done. Too many things we have been programmed to think or believe in this society that are very wrong. We only see negative in everything. We don't see positive. And that's our wrong default settings. Everything we see the negative side of it. We never see the positive side of it. When you see two people of the opposite sex talking together or being close, the first thing that comes to mind is that only God knows what is between the two of them. Negative. It's never positive that there could be something more important. They could be talking about business, they could be talking about good things. It's always that there must be something evil. That's the wrong default setting. How can a society who is always thinking negative ever progress? You do good things in society now, they are trying to say that for you to have done good things, there must be something negative about it. Why can't they see positive thing in the good thing that you have done? Today, people are skeptical of even doing good for people misrepresenting what they're trying to do. How can such a society progress? When you hear a story about servants of God that are negative, you don't take your time to even find out whether it is true or not. You just believe. But if it is positive, you say, "Aha, we're sure." Why is it that we always believe in negative things and not in positive things? "Oh, I went to a church today. The lame walked, the blind see." Hey, 419. Let them be deceiving you. Nobody will believe. But I went to church today, whereby if you see what they said the pastor did, it's so negative. We'll be saying it. Both were not investigated, but they came to a conclusion. And the conclusion they would rather come to is one that is negative and not positive. A nation that is always thinking negative can never prosper. Am I right? When every time all we think about is negative, how can we prosper? It's the wrong default setting. This is part of the problem we have in this nation. You see somebody make money. Only God knows how he made this money. Imagine every time anybody think about you that way. And that's how we think about everybody that way. We go abroad now. They say Nigerians, they generalize us and everything. They speak evil against us. We don't like it. But that is the problem of wrong default setting. That when you generalize everybody based on the action of one person, it's a wrong default setting. Shout a glorious hallelujah. There will always be bad people in this world, but it doesn't mean that everybody is bad. You need to give everyone a chance. In case some of you don't realize this is a news. Let me just say this is the news flash. Servants of God are not perfect people. They will make mistakes. They will err. They will take wrong steps, just like you. Being a servant of God doesn't make anybody perfect. The Bible says their righteousness is of God. So stop expecting perfectness. Stop expecting stop looking for a servant of God that is flawless. There is no servant of God that is flawless. Shout a glorious hallelujah. We need to change that default setting. And it is when we have that mindset that when our servant of God falter, we're able to lift him up in prayer, not condemn. Many giants, many generals in the ministry today are no more, because when they fell, nobody was there to bring them back up. In the course of my life, I have made several mistakes, not one, even as servants of God. But that does not remove the fact that I am still a servant of God, even in my mistakes. How do you govern people who just want to believe what they want to believe? Another default setting we have. Wrong default setting. We want to believe what we want to believe. I gave you a scripture in Proverbs the other time about a child or someone that wants to believe what they want to believe. And how the Bible refers to such a person as what? As foolish. In fact, let me go back to it and read it to you. I think it's in Proverbs 18, 1 and 2. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his own opinion. Whatever he wants to believe is what he chooses to believe. How do you govern such people? To govern Nigeria is a problem, because Nigerians only want to believe what they want to believe. In fact, when you see some educated people, learned people arguing sometimes, you'll be disappointed, because what they want to believe is what they want to believe. Let's look at Buhari's statement on the youths. How many of you made comments about that statement? Lift up your hands. You made comment about the statement about, oh, this man said that our youths are lazy. Lift up your hands. How many? You made comments. Don't be ashamed. Just lift up. I want to know. Okay. Many of you, okay, put down your hands. Many of you made statements. How many of you actually hear the man speak? Lift up your hand. Those of you that made the statement, that before you made the statement, you actually hear the man speak. You had the statement, you had the message he made, the thing they are quoting to have said. How many of you listened to him before you made the statement? Lift up your hand. How many? So, meaning you all spoke based on what somebody said. Shame unto you. Shame. That is the problem in Nigeria. Wrong default setting. That's why social media, they carry any news, and before you know it, you start forwarding without confirming whether it is true or false. How do you govern people like this? That any slight statement they hear, they believe without processing. I had to go back to listen to that statement. And the first one I heard it, the first thing that came to my mind was that I made an excuse. I said, this man, even if he had said it, could not have meant all Nigerians, all our youths. He probably would have said some of them. Because it is not all of them that are lazy. So he couldn't have said all of them are lazy. He's more intelligent than for him. Am I making sense to you? Give him some credit. He couldn't have said all of them. So that was my first impression, that he couldn't have said all of them. But because I know that some of them are lazy, I said, well, his statement is not so far from the truth. Am I making sense to you? But then I now went on to listen to the statement. The man never said it. Go in the internet. Go and it's there. Listen to him. He never said it. He never said Nigerian youths are lazy. No. Please, how can I govern people like this? If I were him, I would resign. I can't deal with people like this. I can't. He never used the word lazy. All he said was that, well, our youth, he said Nigerians, he said percentage of Nigerians. He mentioned the percentage of those who are old and those who are young. And he said, it's unfortunate that many people expect that because we have oil, we have this, we have that, everything should be free. Whereas it's not so. We still have, that was all he said. And then they interpreted it to mean that he said they are lazy. Did you listen to it? Did you listen to it eventually? Did you listen to it? Did you listen to it? Did you listen to it? Am I right? Did you listen to the message eventually? Did you listen to his statement? Did you listen to his, have you played it? Have you played it? How many of you have played it? Did you play it? What I'm saying, is it true or not? Is it true? But you know one thing, when we don't like people, we will believe the worst about them. Now listen carefully. The total number of votes cast during the Big Brother Nigeria was 170 million votes at 30 naira per SMS. 170 million votes at 30 naira per SMS. Listen, this is for a show that contributes nothing to their lives, does not portray any moral value. A show where people sleep on with each other on television live, where they do anything. Now, going by the figures, it will take America and Britain combined 3.5 years to organize a talent show to catch up with Nigeria. It will take them 3.5 years. This one is neither a talent show or a life enhancing or promoting show. It is a show that several young adults who are strangers are kept in a cage, like an environment, to freely engage in immoral behavior, even having sex on national television, while the organizers make more money from the youth who become obsessed with watching them 24 hours every day. Majority of those who casted those votes, who Who are they? If INEC organizes general elections this weekend and asks Nigerian youth to vote on their mobile phones at just 10 naira per SMS, vote to elect leaders that can shape their future and the country, they will ask the Nigerian government to credit their account first before they will agree to vote on something that will influence their future, their tomorrow. But tell me, what will Big Brother do for them? And they are willing to spend 30 naira to vote. So if Buhari had called our youth foolish, they say he abused us. Am I making sense to you? Am I right? The truth of the matter, beloved, is this. Yet many young people misquoted the president that he said many Nigerians youths are lazy. But let's look at it. Nigerian youths, some of them, are not only lazy, but unfortunately act stupidly because they fail to think. It is pathetic. 170 million votes multiplied by 30 naira comes to 5.1 billion naira. When I said that unfortunately they act stupidly, some people said, but I'm abusing them. But I'm telling you, 170 million votes times 30 naira will give you 5.1 billion naira. Now listen, what did they give the winner? 25 million naira. 25 million naira. One SUV worth 12 million naira. A trip and electronics compared to the 5.1 billion naira that they robbed them of without learning or gaining anything. Are Nigerian youth stupid or not? Answer me now. But if the president has said that Nigerian youth are stupid, say, how can he say that? Can he say that? Stupid because they fail to think. When they are advised on the importance of hard work, developing a good work ethic, and counseled about learning a trade to go along with their university degrees, they go back to reject it, and it is again as a result of default setting. They all now want to make quick money. Most of them are now into music. Bang, bang, dibi, dibi. Quick money. It's because of that same quick money that they went into Big Brother. They're not ready to do things that something that's dignifying. Am I making sense to you? How can you say you make money by sleeping on the national television and you are proud? Can it happen in those days? If you make that kind of money, can you even come back to that society? Yet they come into the society, we welcome them and we applaud them. What kind of country are we? What is wrong with our thinking now? How can we make progress with this kind of thought process? And then the parents, they come back home, they call them with camera and they ask their mother, how do you think your child performed? I was so impressed, we are so proud of her. A child that had just messed herself out on open television, we are so proud of her. She did well. The whole family we are so full of praise for her. She had made us proud. How? Tell me, is something not wrong with the way we think nowadays? Is something not wrong with the way we think nowadays? Answer me now. Is something not wrong with the way we think nowadays? Definitely there is something wrong, because this would not have happened in the past. That was why then things were much better than it is today. I told you that if I were President Buhari, I will have resigned. I will say I'm not doing it again. How do I govern this kind of people? How do I relate with them? They are impossible. Look at the former British Prime Minister, David Cameron. At a very critical period in their existence as Great Britain, after more discussions within political parties, in particular and in leader cities of the country, they decided to determine with votes on whether to continue to exit with part of the European community or to exit. This was a very sensitive matter. He chose for them to remain, while Trump chose for them to exit. And when he lost the vote, even though he was still a serving prime minister, and he realized that the people that he was serving do no longer believe in his idea, he resigned. If I were Buhari, I would resign. Because if everything I'm trying to do, people are seeing at it, I see, what am I doing? What is this? I would just say, you know what? Go and sort your life. I would rather maintain my name and my integrity than allow some people who have refused, who have made up them to be what they want to believe, to ruin my reputation. Nowadays, if you saw their political system, I don't see how anybody can govern this country based on and successfully based on the present law that our lawmakers have made. I don't see how you can govern this country. They have tied your hands with their law to protect corrupt people. You virtually cannot do anything without them. And when you cannot do anything without people that are corrupt, how can you do anything that is right? So I ask myself, what am I looking for there? That's why I question the morality behind some servants of God that says they want to go for political office. I'm asking myself, has the law changed? Has the law changed? Are they not still going to contest with these same people? And if they're going to contest with these same people, what is the proof that they can make a difference? And if I'm going to a place and I cannot make a difference, why am I going there in the first place? Shout a glorious hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Listen carefully, beloved. Let me read the word of the British Prime Minister when he resigned. He said, the British people have voted to leave the European Union, and their will must be respected. I want to thank everyone who took part in the campaign on my side of the argument, including all those who put aside party differences to speak in what they believe was the national interest. And let me congratulate all those who took part in the Leave campaign for the spirited and passionate case that they made. The moral in this story is that Cameron, as a leader who had the right attitude to lead his people, he was selfless in his leadership and respected the views and feelings of his people, and never tried to impose his will on them for any selfish reason. If they say they don't like the idea, go ahead and sort yourself out. Am I making sense to you? In Africa, we believe it is our birthright. We must stay there, we must die there. I was looking at one political something about Cameroon. They were doing a political campaign, and they saw the man who was, who was trying to become president, being guided by two people. Old man, cannot barely walk, and still want to contest for the post of a president. What is wrong with us in Africa? We have wrong default setting. Everything is a do or die. I must get it. It is my birthright. It is this, it is that. No nation can move forward thinking this way. We need to change all these wrong default settings. If you believe it, shout hallelujah. So back to Esau. If I tell you that I will trade you a brand new Rolls Royce of mine, I don't have Rolls Royce, I'm just using it. If I tell you I'll trade you a brand new Rolls Royce of mine for a mere handkerchief from you, if you agree to it, it means you are wise, and it means I'm foolish. I'm giving you Rolls Royce to collect handkerchief. How can I blame you for collecting Rolls Royce? I should blame myself for taking handkerchief to replace a rose. Am I making sense to you? In actual fact, that's why I said that when you look at it, Jacob is not to be blamed for telling his brother, if you want what I want, what I have, give me this and I will give it to you. It is his brother who is stupid enough to have given him his birthright in exchange for a pot of porridge. Am I making sense to you? So we need to change this wrong default setting in not taking responsibility and putting other people to blame for what they've done to us, or when we see two things happening, when we see things happening outside, rather than looking at it objectively, we blame one side and ignore the other side. Meanwhile, maybe the other side is the one that we actually should be blamed. Shout hallelujah. Let me use this opportunity to warn those making temporary decisions on permanent issues. Don't make temporary decisions on something that is permanent in your life. Are you following me? Don't allow your desperation to make a temporary decision on something that is permanent. You go meet a girl and start soliciting for sex, and the girl says, will you marry me? And because of that temporary thing that you want, you say yes, and she agrees, and you do it, and she got pregnant. The temporary decision will result into something that is permanent, that you will live for it for the rest of your life. Don't allow your desperation to make you take decisions that you live to regret for the rest of your life. Because at the end of the day, there will be no other person to blame but yourself. Shout hallelujah. When you consider you are giving away your future for some pleasure that is temporary, a relief of 30 minutes or whatever the case may be, you are giving away the next 30 years of your life, if not your entire future and destiny. It is not worth it. And you cannot blame anybody but who? Yourself. In one way or another, all of us have done something stupid at one point in time or the other. Am I right? Yes, we've all done it. But then it's time to learn. It's time to say enough is enough. It's a time to put enough to our stupidity, to our foolishness, to the way we think, to the way we act, to all the wrong decisions we've been making in life. We need to come to the point and say, enough, I'm not doing again. We cannot continue this way if we want our future to be great. You cannot continue to make mistakes and continue to mess up your life if you want to have a glorious future. All of us are what we are today based on the mistakes we made in the past. And if you want a glorious future, we cannot continue to make mistakes. That's why we need to think, stop and think. Am I making sense to you? All the negative mindsets, all the wrong default settings, we need to put a stop to it this morning. Shout a glorious hallelujah. In those moments of acting stupid, I will look at myself and ask, how could you have done something stupid? It is very difficult to live without doing something stupid. We talk about other people's stupidity, but we don't remember our own stupidity at times. For some of us, all we need to do is to look at some old pictures and we will remember some of our stupid moments. Esau did something stupid, just like the rest of us. There are consequences to our stupid actions. which we must live with. Are you following me? So that we don't compound the problems of our life is the reason why we must stop now and change the way we think. Shout hallelujah. It was not the stupidity that bothered Esau at the end of the day, but the permanent decision he made, which made him to lose his future. Something that he could not change because of what he did in his life. He was caught in a moment of stupidity that he could not change. Now, as I try to put a stop to where we are this morning, maybe I'll continue next week because I can't finish it. It is bad enough that we made mistakes. It is bad enough that we do certain things because we have a wrong default setting or we have the wrong idea or perception about life. But it is much terrible if you keep on repeating it. Some people find themselves repeating the same mistake over and over again. Some people get stuck on stupid mode. The reason for this sermon about changing our default setting is not to affect or to change the mistakes or the because of the ones we have done in the past. No. But to stop us from making further mistakes. Are you following me? We need to make up our mind that no more. Are you following me? We keep going after the same kind of person or doing the same kind of stupid thing over and over again. We are still influenced by the same wrong default setting we have in making choices about life. We need to put a stop to this. We still continue to live above our means, which is another form of stupidity. We have suffered so much as a result of this stupid act. We need to say enough. Esau desired to be able to change things, but he could not do anything about it. It was too late. He lost and forfeited his inheritance over a bowl of soup. All of us this morning who have acted stupidly at one point in time or the other have found themselves stuck in one thing or the other as a result of the stupid decisions we took. Repentance means metanoia, which means to change. Tell your neighbor, change. Esau, having looked at everything that's happened to him and acknowledged his failure and the reason why it happened to him, sought a change of mindset. He sought a change of mindset. This is the type of change that is so radical that it affects your behavior, your character, and your way of life. This is not something that you have to do every day. You do it once and for all. I'm not going to go this direction again, and I'm going to go there, no matter whatever it takes, and you turn away. Not that you go today again. Oh, I made a mistake. Okay, I will come again tomorrow. No. Change and change once and for all. We need to look deeper into this matter to get a better understanding of things. When you go on a computer, they have what is called a default setting. The default sets the computer some principles and ideas. If you default, it will automatically take you back to the default settings of the computer. I tried to analyze it with a car, whatever, last week. But in the case of man, if you are talking about change in a mindset, in the computer we can change the font. We can change the size of the letters anytime we want to do so. We can choose to change the fonts of the size we feel is the best, depending on who and what we are typing for. Whenever we finish the typing, however, when you put on the computer afresh, it will revert back to its default settings. The situation has not changed in the system. It is us that when we type choose to change, it is us that when we type choose to change the font size. Some people are similar to this description. When they are around church people, they choose to change and behave in a particular way. When they are around certain people, they will behave in a way that they want, so as to make those people see them in the light that they want to be seen. When they ever get to their homes, or when in their own comfort zones, they go back to their default settings, their real self. The problem is this: when you go back to being yourself, you go back to that same old pattern. Don't go to the office or come to church and act the way pastor wants to see you, the way pastor wants you to behave, the way the church wants to see you. That is not the kind of default setting we are talking. That's not the kind of change we are talking about, whereby you change for the church. But as soon as you step out of the church, you go back to your old self. That is not the change we are talking about. The change we are talking about is what I call a complete change. That when you change, there is no reference back to your old self again. The Bible says all things are gone and all things have become new. Are you following me? I'll stop there today.